Presidential profile: Theodore Roosevelt. When he became president, Theodore Roosevelt was not quite 43 years old. This made him the youngest president in the nation's history. His youth brought new ideas and new excitement to the White House. He brought power to the presidency with his forward-thinking changes, and he worked to form strong ties with other countries. Roosevelt thought that the president should do whatever was necessary for the good of the country unless it was forbidden by law. As one example, he negotiated with coal miners who had gone on strike. It was the first time that a president had ever become involved in a strike. Born into wealth. Theodore Roosevelt was born in 1858 in New York City. Unlike some of the presidents who had come before him, Roosevelt came from a wealthy family. His struggles were not with money, but with his health. He was homeschooled because of his illnesses. In 1884, his first wife, Alice Lee Roosevelt, and his mother, Martha Bulloch Roosevelt, died on the same day. Roosevelt spent much of the next 2 years on his ranch in what is now North Dakota. Horseback riding, moving cattle, and hunting big game helped him feel less sad. He returned to New York in 1886 and married Edith Caro. They had been friends since they were children. Speak softly and carry a big stick. Roosevelt was also a war hero. He fought in the Spanish-American War in 1898. The war was fought against Spain. Winning the war made the United States a world power. Roosevelt then became the governor of New York. In 1900, William McKinley became the president. Roosevelt was his vice president. The vice president works under the president and takes over the White House if anything happens to the president. When President McKinley was killed in 1901, Roosevelt became president. In 1904, he ran to be president again and won. Roosevelt wanted the United States to have more to do with the other countries of the world. He liked to say, "Speak softly and carry a big stick." In other words, he felt that the best way to get a country to listen was peaceful talk combined with making sure that they knew about our country's power. He won the Nobel Peace Prize after he helped Japan and Russia end a war they were fighting against each other. Roosevelt supported the Panama Canal Project. Roosevelt helped make sure the Panama Canal was built. Panama is a small country in Central America located between the Atlantic Ocean and the Pacific Ocean. A canal is a waterway that joins two bodies of water. The Panama Canal joined the two oceans, making Panama an important route for ocean trade. Roosevelt was later quoted as saying the canal was one of the most important actions of his time as president. He also helped with trade by not letting big companies in America become too powerful. He did this by not letting one company control an entire business. For example, only a few railroad companies owned all the trains. Roosevelt made sure there were more companies so no one railroad had too much control over how the trains would work. Some of Roosevelt's most important achievements involved protecting nature. He added enormously to the national forest in the western United States and reserved lands for public use. He felt conservation was very important. Building greatness. Roosevelt fought endlessly on matters big and small. He excited audiences with his high-pitched voice, strong jaw, and pounding fist. He felt that working hard and playing hard and overcoming problems helped to build greatness. He insisted on this in those around him, and he played sports with his 5 younger children and led lawmakers on hikes. In 1912, Roosevelt ran for president again, but this time he lost. While campaigning in Milwaukee, he was shot in the chest. Roosevelt soon recovered, but his words at that time remained true for him at the time of his death in 1919. He said, "No man has had a happier life than I have led, a happier life in every way."